Good morning, class. My name is Kristen Adrizola. Just a reminder, I'm doing my field practicum at the Office of Public Advocacy in Anchorage, Alaska, in the Guardian Ad Litem section. My two supervisors are also the CASA coordinators for Anchorage, so they manage all the court-appointed special advocates. And pretty much they work with kids that are in state custody to ensure they have a voice. With all the other individuals involved in a court proceeding, they want to make sure that a child actually has a voice in the proceeding and someone's acting in the best interest of the child. And so I know I've talked a lot about a different topics. This week I want to talk about appropriate relationships and boundaries. And hopefully you all won't mind. I'm just going to talk freely about this hearing that I observed and a discussion that I had with someone who's been involved in a case for a really long time. I hope it's pretty organized and you can follow my thoughts. But talking about it like this is really important to me because I think it really impacted the way I feel about the situation. Just a little bit about me. I'm a very logical person. It's really easy for me to follow rules and kind of sift through sometimes ambiguous situations and kind of just get to the heart of the issue. And in this case, I feel like I was extremely torn. And so the situation which I'm talking about, I was going to a hearing so I can actually observe a hearing for my process recording that I'm going to do this week. And before the hearing, the individual who's been involved in this case for about 4 years gave me a little bit of background. She mentioned there was originally three girls involved. Two of the girls have aged out of the state custody, and one child is 16 years old, and she's actually currently in a behavioral health institution for a suicide attempt. And like I mentioned, she's 16 years old, and she just mentioned that the girls have gone through a tremendous amount of trauma. There was some very hard abuse going on with their stepfather, sexual abuse, and he was later prosecuted. He's actually in jail right now. He's going to be sentenced on the 18th, so this week he's actually going to be sentenced. He was convicted, and so hopefully he goes away for a really long time. But you know, the children had a lot of trauma, obviously, due to their stepfather's abuse. And also, the mother completely turned her back on her girls. You know, she didn't believe them, she didn't support them. And so, right now, you know, they really just don't have a consistent, positive adult, maternal or paternal figure in their lives. Now, as the individual who's been involved in that case for the last 4 years, and that's extraordinary. Typically, cases don't run that long, but there was a criminal component in the case, so it's ran a lot longer. And so the individual has really gotten an opportunity to know the girls, get really close with the girls. And, you know, she mentioned, she was like, you know, this child will oftentimes, you know, mention, you know, I love you. Um, you know, because this individual has been kind of a maternal figure, a consistent positive figure in their life, and which in part is what you want from court-appointed special advocate, for them to be a consistent positive person in the child's life who acts in the best interest. And, you know, the individual, she mentioned, she said, you know, I grapple with that because I know that it may not be appropriate, but frankly, I just cannot reject this child. I can't just not say it back because I fear that, you know, not only do I care really deeply for this child that I've been working with for the last 4 years, but I don't want her to, you know, feel rejection. And, you know, I heard that. We went to the court proceeding, and the child was on the phone participating in her own status hearing. And, you know, towards the end of the status hearing, she mentioned, you know, she said, Judge, I've got a really important question. And, you know, the judge said, you know, what's your important question? And she said, you know, am I still up for adoption? Previously, an adoption had fell through that she was really looking forward to. But just to kind of hear in her voice that hope, that want, frankly, that desperation, that I want a family, I want to feel connected, I want to feel loved. You know, I absolutely got where the individual who was working on her case was coming from. And typically I'm extremely pragmatic and logical, and very clear on those boundaries of appropriateness. But in this situation, it really just affected me because I was like, I get it. I get wanting to, preserve some of that child's hope and kind of, taper that rejection. And so, my question to the class is, just what are your thoughts on that? And how would you handle a situation where a child has been deeply affected and disappointed in the past in terms of family, in terms of belonging? How would you respond, when she, says, I love you, thank you for always being there for me? How would you separate that boundary? I really look forward to hearing your answers on this. I don't have any experience in this, but I do feel like children and working with them is a lot different. She's old enough to know if you're redirecting her, and at the same time, she's young enough and still almost innocent in a way to just really hope that someone connects with her. So thank you. I look forward to hearing your response, and sorry for going over.